Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating, profound Bengali story called The Mystery of the Magic Spices. But, this isn't just some simple fable about making sweets in a tiny village. We're actually going to unpack this brilliant allegory to get to the absolute core of what it means to build a true, lasting legacy. So, settle in, because the lessons we're about to explore literally apply to every single business, every craft, and really just life in general.
Think about this for a second. If you suddenly had the ultimate secret formula to success in your hands, do you think it would actually work if your underlying intentions were bad? We're so conditioned to think that success is all about finding a secret shortcut, right? Some hidden hack, or in this case, a literal magic spice. But this story challenges us to ask a much deeper question. Does the tool even matter at all if the person using it has corrupt intentions? Let's find out.
All right, Section 1, The Real Magic Spice Myth. Let's set the scene and talk about this legendary spice. So everyone in this village was totally convinced that the master sweetmaker, Ustad Zahir, had this literal physical magic spice locked away in a little clay jar. They thought this was the only reason his famous local sweets tasted so good that they literally brought a sense of peace to whoever ate them. But on his deathbed, the Ustad drops a massive bombshell on his most loyal student, Nadim. He tells him, "The magic works in the mind, not in the hands. It is my life's deposit of honesty." He explains that this famous jar of spice only does anything when it's used with completely pure intentions. He actually warns Nadim that the spice instantly loses all its power the second you start watering down ingredients or let arrogance creep into your heart. Honestly, this totally flips our normal understanding of inheritance on its head. Traditionally, when we hear the word legacy, we picture physical property, right? Like a booming family business, a big bank account, or a secret recipe handed down to an heir. But the true meaning of legacy, and really our main focus today, is an inheritance of unshakable ethics, good intentions, and absolute honesty. The real magic spice was never a physical thing. It was this uncompromising integrity that the master was passing on. Moving on to Section 2, two completely different paths. Once the master passes away, we see a massive fork in the road. The Ustad leaves behind two apprentices, and they could not be more different. On one hand, you have Kamal. He represents that very modern obsession we see everywhere today. He's fixated on shortcuts, scaling up at all costs, and just sheer greed. On the other hand, you have Nadim. He totally embodies the slow, honest craftsmanship their master taught them. He cares about patience, customer happiness, and pure honesty way more than just making a quick buck. And what's wild is that the master actually saw this coming from a mile away. Ustad Zahir predicted this exact split before he died, saying, "A greedy person can never be an artist. They become a businessman." He knew that Kamal's obsession with becoming the rich king of the market made him totally blind to the actual art of what they were doing. Kamal just wanted the physical jar. He couldn't care less about the ethical legacy. So, driven by that greed, Kamal literally steals the physical spice jar. This leaves Nadim, along with the Ustad's daughter, Tasnim, completely stranded in the village. No magic jar, no money, having to build a business from absolute zero. But here is where their character really shines. They flat out refuse to compromise on quality. Tasnim even goes as far as selling her mother's earrings just so they have enough cash to buy pure milk and sugar. They are barely surviving, yet they hold on to that legacy of integrity with a vice grip. Okay, Section 3, the story of greed and fall. Let's switch gears and look at what happens when you try to scale up a business using a stolen legacy and zero ethics. Kamal, armed with what he still thinks is his golden ticket, goes super aggressive. He heads to the big city, partners up on a 50-50 split with a greedy investor named Sethji, and they open this massive, flashy shop. And hey, at first, it seems like a genius move. They land this huge, incredibly lucrative wedding order for the wealthy Begum Saheba. On paper, Kamal is absolutely crushing it. But then the pressure to maximize those profit margins kicks in. So what does Kamal do? He secretly decides to start cutting corners. He takes 50 liters of pure milk and waters it down with 20 liters of water. Just think about that ratio. And he's doing this because he arrogantly believes the stolen magic spice will just magically cover up his deception. But, greed is a slippery slope. Watering down the milk isn't enough for him. To squeeze out literally every single penny of profit, Kamal starts using spoiled, stale cheese for the sweets. And because it smells awful, he dumps in all these artificial fragrances to mask the rot. He completely trashes the Oustad's #1 rule of never adulterating the product, all because he thinks the physical jar will fix his deeply unethical choices.
The timeline of this collapse is just staggering. Day 1, he steals the jar. Week 1, he partners with Seth G. By week 3, he's fully adulterating the ingredients. And then, the wedding day arrives. It is a catastrophic disaster. Guests are finding dead bugs in the sweets. People are literally vomiting. It causes a mass illness. The result? Kamal is arrested in total disgrace, and the authorities confiscate absolutely everything he owns to pay off the medical fines for the victims. It's a spectacular, devastating crash.
Which brings us to Section 4, the meaning of true legacy. Because while Kamal was aggressively crashing and burning in the city, something really beautiful was quietly being built back in the village. Rebuilding a real legacy doesn't happen overnight with some magic trick. It's a grind. Not even Tasneem did it step by step. First, they maintained totally pure intentions without looking for shortcuts. Second, as we saw, they completely refused to use cheap or adulterated ingredients even when they were broke. Third, they trusted the process, believing that honest word of mouth would eventually pay off. And finally, they earned back the community's trust. The villagers slowly realized that it was Nadim's sweets that actually brought them that feeling of genuine peace, not the flashy, toxic stuff from the city. In the end, the community realizes the profound truth of the whole story. The magic was never in that little clay jar Kamal stole. The real magic was always in Nadim's honest hands, his pure heart, and his absolute dedication to his master's ethics. The village is so moved by this that they proudly rename the thriving shop to Zahir Oustad and Disciples Sweets, a perfect tribute to a true, unbroken legacy of integrity between a master and his student. So as we wrap up this explainer today, I really want to leave you with a question to chew on. What kind of legacy are you leaving behind? Seriously, in your own life, your career, how you treat people, are you constantly hunting for a shortcut, a magic spice, or are you putting in the hard, honest work? What kind of spice are you leaving behind for the world to remember you by? Thanks for hanging out and exploring this powerful story with me today. Hopefully, it inspires you to build a legacy that actually lasts.